Hello and welcome, Preamble. Extract from a video by Alan Wallace. Max Planck and Albert Einstein suggest that maybe it is mind, consciousness, perfect oneness, that is the matrix of all matter behind the force of atoms, that there exists a conscious, intelligent mind and intelligent design. Einstein says, there is a superior mind that reveals itself through the world of experience. James Jean says, the universe begins to look more like a giant thought rather than a giant machine. Mind no longer appears to be an accidental intruder in the realm of matter. We ought rather to hail it as the creator of the realm of matter. So, what underlies what is both fundamental and crucial? Is it possible that consciousness, like space-time, has its own intrinsic degrees of freedom, and that neglecting these will lead to a description of the universe that is fundamentally incomplete? What if consciousness is as real, or maybe in a certain sense is even more real, than material objects? So, the core theory may be incomplete, after all, because something's left out, and that's consciousness. The quantum nature of consciousness. Federico Faggin, a pioneering figure in computing and artificial intelligence, is best known for designing the first commercial microprocessor. However, in recent years, Faggin has emerged as a leading voice in the exploration of consciousness, proposing that it is not confined to the human brain, but instead arises from a deeper, universal quantum field. Faggin, along with thinkers such as Donald Hoffman, see our previous posts, Spacetime and all within it emerges from conscious agents, and The Hard Problem of Consciousness. Rupert Spira, see our previous post, Quick Now, Here Now Always. And Deepak Chopra, please see the video link included in our text post, suggests that reality is not fundamentally material, but information, and experiential. David Foster Wallace comments on the work of John Archibald Wheeler, saying that semantic information, meaningful information, is fundamental and out of our concepts of information. We create the constructs of particles, forces, space, time, matter, subject and object, and so on. Information is underlying, information is primary, all is information. As Werner Gitt pointed out, transfer of information plays a fundamental role in all living organisms, and this information regulates all life processes and procreative functions. DNA is literally life's information store. Whilst the understanding of the word life is generally taken for granted, it is helpful for us here to use this definition: a set of characteristics that distinguish living organisms from non-living matter. These characteristics include the ability to reproduce, grow, metabolize, respond to stimuli, and adapt to the environment. Essentially, life is a dynamic, self-sustaining system capable of evolution and emergence. In this model, qualia, the subjective qualities of experience, are not produced by the brain, but are emergent from a holistic quantum field rich with meaning and information. This challenges the dominant materialist, dualist paradigm in science and positions consciousness as the foundational element of reality. A transformative personal experience sparked Faggin's insights, a profound sense of love and interconnectedness. This moment catalyzed his quest to comprehend consciousness, or psyche, that animating entity reflected in all, and perhaps more complexly in the human body-mind, leading him to explore the intersection of quantum physics and consciousness. In his philosophical and scientific inquiry into consciousness as the underlying reality, he critiques the dominant materialist paradigm wherein mainstream science ignores the inner experience, thereby overlooking essential truths about the universe. Advocating for a shift in our understanding for Faggin, consciousness and free will are not illusions or epiphenomena, but the most real and fundamental aspects of existence, rather than emergent properties of complex systems. Holographic reality and interconnectedness. Faggin views biological systems as holographic. Each part reflects the whole. This idea echoes the work of quantum physicist David Bohm, who proposed that the universe is a vast hologram where each fragment contains information about the totality. Similarly, neuroscientist Carl Pribram suggested that memories are distributed throughout the brain in a holographic pattern. Together, Bohm and Pribram developed the holonomic model of the brain, integrating quantum physics and neuroscience. This holographic perspective implies that consciousness is inherently interconnected and non-local. It cannot be replicated by machines, as artificial intelligence lacks the self-aware experiential dimension that characterizes conscious beings or conscious agents. Thus, Faggin argues against the notion that AI will surpass human intelligence, emphasizing the uniqueness of consciousness in biological organisms. Science, spirituality, and a new paradigm. Faggin's ideas invite a reconciliation of science and spirituality, encouraging a worldview that honors both empirical inquiry and inner experience. He believes that embracing consciousness as primary could foster a more cooperative and sustainable society. Such a shift is vital as humanity confronts existential threats such as ecological collapse, failing capitalist economics, and the unchecked rise of inequality and artificial intelligence. By recentering consciousness in our understanding of the universe, Faggin envisions a transformation in science, technology, and culture. This approach offers a path toward a more harmonious and interconnected future. Spacetime as an emergent interface of conscious agents. Donald Hoffman, a cognitive scientist and philosopher, proposes a complementary theory that positions consciousness, not spacetime, as the fundamental substrate of reality. According to his interface theory of perception, what we perceive as physical reality is not the objective truth, but an adaptive user interface evolved for survival. Hoffman comments, reality is an adaptive set of perceptions. Perceptions are there to guide adaptive behavior. They are not there to show you the truth. The perceptions are real as perceptions. We are having our perceptions, but we have assumed there is a pretty tight relationship between our perceptions and reality. Our perceptions are there to hide the truth because the truth, ultimate underlying reality, is too complicated, so we abstract in order to adapt. You don't see reality, you see a user interface. Life is an interface, it's just a headset, artificial intelligence metaphor, and we construct interfaces, theories, etc. We need to see through these interfaces, as we are lost in the game. In this model, conscious agents are defined by their ability to perceive, decide, and act. Space-time and physical phenomena emerge from the structured interactions among these agents. Reality, therefore, is not a static physical domain, but a dynamic web of information relationships. This theory draws upon quantum information theory, Bayesian cognition, and evolutionary game theory. It reframes long-standing scientific puzzles, such as the quantum measurement problem and observer-dependent effects, by treating consciousness as primary and space-time as emergent. Formalizing conscious agents. To make this framework rigorous, conscious agents can be modeled mathematically as systems defined by perceptual, decision, and action functions. The interactions among agents, governed by information exchange, give rise to emergent phenomena that resemble physical laws and space-time geometry. This approach finds echoes in quantum error correction, tensor networks, and active inference. Such a model promises to unify physics and consciousness studies by rooting both in a shared informational ontology. It also suggests that the physical world is not separate from the mental, but a projection of deeper conscious dynamics. quantum consciousness and the role of protoconsciousness. Physicists and theorists such as Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff further expand this paradigm by linking consciousness to quantum mechanics. They propose that quantum superpositions in microtubules within neurons may give rise to moments of conscious awareness through a process known as objective reduction. This process, governed by quantum thresholds, is seen as intrinsic to nature itself. According to this view, consciousness is not confined to the brain, but exists in potential across all quantum systems. The concept of protoconsciousness, the fundamental capacity for experience, pervades the universe at the Planck scale, representing the smallest possible units of measurement in the universe. Consciousness arises when quantum information within a system persists long enough to reach a collapse threshold. Hameroff speculates that the universe experienced a moment of consciousness at the Big Bang, and that remnants of this original awareness persist in all matter. Death, in this model, is not the end of consciousness, but a transformation, as quantum information disperses and potentially persists in a non-local, dreamlike state. Quantum information and the dynamics of consciousness. The exploration of consciousness through the lens of quantum information opens the door to radical ideas, suggesting that consciousness may be interwoven with the fabric of reality itself, present even in seemingly inanimate objects. This perspective supports panpsychism, which posits that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of all information. It challenges the traditional view that consciousness is solely a byproduct of complex neural architecture. However, the theory encounters the combination problem, which questions how simple units of consciousness combine to form the rich tapestry of human experience. Some researchers propose that quantum information processing could illuminate this mystery, offering insight into how basic experiential units merge to produce a coherent sense of self. Quantum states, characterized by potentiality and uniqueness, mirror the fluid and dynamic nature of consciousness. Just as a quantum state holds multiple possibilities until observed, consciousness may operate in a realm of possibilities, where free will functions as the mechanism that collapses potential futures into actual experiences. This vision portrays individuals not as passive observers, but as active participants in the co-creation of reality. Biological implications. Live information and meaning. These ideas extend into biology, prompting a reconsideration of life itself. The notion of live information emerges, suggesting that cellular processes are not merely mechanical, but guided by meaningful information flows. This challenges the reductionist view of life as a series of biochemical reactions and proposes instead that meaning and purpose are intrinsic to biological organization. In this context, elements like so-called junk DNA may hold untapped informational significance, potentially playing a role in the interface between consciousness and physical reality. This reconceptualization of biology aligns with the broader paradigm that sees consciousness and life as deeply entangled. The implications. A conscious universe. This emerging framework, where consciousness is the foundation of space-time and matter, challenges the core assumptions of materialism. Panpsychism becomes a natural extension of this view. It implies that the universe is life-friendly, structured to foster observers and intelligent participation. Quoting thinkers like Max Planck, Einstein, and James Jeans, this perspective sees the mind not as an accidental product of matter, but as its source. As Alan Wallace observes, if we attend only to the physical, we risk missing the deeper semantic dimensions of reality, the meaning-laden informational core that generates space, time, and perception. In summary, consciousness is not an anomaly to be explained away, but the very fabric from which reality emerges. By embracing this paradigm, we open the door to new, scientific, philosophical, and spiritual possibilities, inviting humanity to rediscover itself as both observer and co-creator of the cosmos.